Good morning and welcome to the ITS Connect session for May. My name is Jennifer Laudiana. I'm the Education and Training Specialist for Information Technology Services. And today we're going to talk about another Google product called Hangouts today, and we're going to show you an example and talk about ways that you can use it. I have put a poll out today for those of you who were here a little early. It looks like a lot of you have not used Google Hangouts before. And a few of you have used them. So hopefully those that have used them before will learn something new about them or a new way to access them or take away something today from this information that I'm going to present. So I'm going to remove my poll. Looks like we're 50-50 now. Yes, I've used them and not used them. So what are Google Hangouts? A Hangout is actually a free video chat tool. You can use it anywhere. You can chat with up to 9 people. So if you're having a small meeting, staff meeting, or committee meeting with maybe 4 or 5 people, this is a really good way to bring everyone together without having everyone come to the same room. It is free as part of our Google products. It integrates with Google Apps. So you can use it with chat. You can use it with Google Talk. You can use it with Google+. You can also add it to your calendar. So you can plan to have a meeting and allow that as an option to attend. You can share items during the Hangout. So you can share your screen. You can share Google documents. You can share other documents. You can also share videos. So if you're critiquing a video or you're a small group of students together and you wanted to look at something from class together, you could actually show the video and everyone could watch it while you are in the Google Hangout. Another nice thing is you can capture screenshots. So if you are critiquing something and you want to photograph it, there's a way that you can photograph the Hangout so you can get a copy of that. Or if you wanted a quick record of who attended the meeting, you could take a picture of the Hangout and you would have everyone there that attended the meeting. So it would be helpful if you're doing something where you need to write minutes, and it'd just be a quick way for you to see who attended the meeting. And there are a lot more features. I'll get into that a little more when we show you the example of a Hangout. So why would you use it? I mentioned a couple of different ways you can use it. It is easy to use. It's pretty much a one-click. You want click to go into it, you join it, and you're in it. It's pretty simple. It's also a tool for virtual meetings, as I mentioned before. You can send invitations. So if you wanted to have one on the fly and you just wanted to start a meeting and add people and have people start coming in, if they're available, you could do that. Another nice thing, you can use your own computer. So you don't need to have a special computer. You don't need to go to a special room where there's equipment. It integrates with Calendar, as I mentioned, so you can add that to your meetings and give that as an option for people attending the meetings. And it integrates with chat and Google+, as I mentioned, so you can start a Hangout, as we say, on the fly, which means you can just click on the item, invite people, and get started. So it doesn't have to necessarily be a planned meeting either. So a couple of options. I talked about sharing. When we go into the sample Hangout that we're going to do, you will see on the left-hand side there will be little icons, and if you hover on them, it will tell you what they are, but I thought I would give you an overview of each of the items. So when you are already in a Hangout, so if you started a Hangout on the fly, or maybe you're in a meeting and you realize we should have invited so-and-so to come, there will be an invite more people icon, and if you click on that, you would type in their name and it would send them a note to say you've been invited to a Hangout, and they could click on a link and come into the Hangout. The second item is a group chat. So the way my Hangout will be set up, I believe you can move this around. On the right-hand side, you will see a group chat, and that's how you can chat with each other without having to speak. So if you just wanted to send a quick link, I've had that where I've been in a Hangout and someone says, oh, here's the link. They can put it in the chat. Everyone can see the link. You can click on it and open it, or cut and paste it and save it for your own reference. They might have messages to people and say you're taking too long on your presentation, you might need to do this and give feedback. However you want to use the chat, but that is an option in the Hangout. You can share your screen. So if you wanted to show a demonstration of something, you could share your screen, walk through that demonstration with the group, and they would be able to see it. I mentioned earlier you can capture pictures of the Hangout, so if someone showed a document and you wanted to get a copy of it for reference, you could take a picture. If you wanted to take a picture of who was there in the group, you can have that on hand. If you are the person taking minutes for a meeting, you can say, here are the people who attended. There is an effects option, which is kind of fun to use. I'll let you explore that. Share YouTube videos. I mentioned earlier, it is integrated with YouTube, so you can pull up YouTube videos and put it in the space and everyone can watch them. And you can share from Google Docs. So if you have Google Docs, you can go ahead and just pull those right in. So it does integrate with a lot of the Google products. And then the very bottom, it does have a more apps. So you can go out and look for other apps that will integrate with the Google Hangout, other Google apps, and use it how you need to use the system. A couple of, before we get into our demonstration, just a couple of tips. One is if you are in a Google Hangout, unlike if you watch the telepresence ITS Connect session we did a couple months ago, one thing in that session, the telepresence units that are in different rooms actually will pause and switch every 3.5 seconds when people are talking. The Google Hangouts don't have that. So when someone makes a noise, clears their throat or something, it'll switch. So the person on the main screen will change pretty fast if a lot of people are shuffling things or coughing or anything like that. So you might see your screen and have it flip back and forth. But it does look very much the same as a telepresence, whereas it does have a main person speaking in the center, and then along the bottom you have the film strip of the people that are in the meeting that you can see. So one of the best practices for using a Hangout is to make sure that you mute your mic if you're not speaking. Another feature that is nice, if you start talking and Google notices it and your mic is muted, it will pop up a notice that says you're speaking and your mic is muted. So if you do have it muted for quite a while and you realize that don't realize it's muted and you start speaking, nice thing is Google will tell you that you're talking and no one can hear you. Also, you can mute your camera. So if you don't have a camera for some reason on your computer, you can still participate. You will show up as a little icon. Some people have a picture in that icon, but by default it's a little silhouette. And you will still be able to participate as far as speaking, and you will be able to hear everyone. You just will not be shown on the camera. And some people, depending on where they are, they might actually mute their camera and they don't want people to see where they are when they're at the meeting. Maybe they're traveling and they're in and out and walking around and they're doing the Hangout on their phone or their iPad. And so it's easier, instead of people seeing them moving around, for them to turn their camera off. So that's another practice that you might want to see how you're going to use it if you want to do that. There is also a volume, so make sure that you set your volume so that people can hear you as well. Maybe do a sound check if you're hosting the meeting at the beginning, just to make sure everyone's levels, everyone can hear all of the people speaking in the Hangout. So how can I use this? I've talked a lot about that, but here are the semantics of it, and I'm going to go through a demonstration of all of these. But from a calendar invitation, you can actually, there's an item that says video call, and it will say make this a video call. You would click it, it puts a link in there, and then when the users open the calendar invite, they can click on the link and it will automatically open up a Google Hangout, and everyone will be going to the same one. So it's associated with your meeting. So anyone who goes into the meeting and clicks that Hangout, they will go into the same one. You can also start from a chat and webmail I mentioned. There is a little icon. If you have webmail open on the left-hand side, there will be a chat area if you don't already use that. And to the right of your name, there are little icons, and you can see on the screen there's a picture of the icon, and that's what you would click on, and it will open up and start a Hangout for you, and you can invite people from that method as well. Lastly is Google Plus. Just a quick overview. Google Plus is a social media platform that Google has. It is very similar to Facebook. It integrates with all of Google's products such as Chat, Hangouts, and all of those things, and Google Talk. And so what you can do is go into your Google Plus and you can start a Hangout on the fly again, as they say, where you can click on the Hangout icon and you can invite people, create an invitation, and then they can all come into your Hangout and you can have a meeting. Lastly, from the Hangout, one thing that I discovered yesterday is if you open a Hangout and you're there and someone is not able to get in for any reason, they might send you a instant message or a chat, or you might see an email come in. One thing you can do is you can actually cut and paste the URL of the Hangout you're in and send it to that person, and they can click on it and it will let them into the Hangout. So that's something to keep in mind as a last item. I wouldn't recommend always doing that because it's a very long web address, and the time to type everything and send it to someone versus clicking on the chat and opening a Hangout is a little bit quicker than that. So let's take a look. I'm going to walk through. I have a test account set up, so I'm going to switch to that. I'm logged in as actually our test user, which is Casey Tester. And I'm in my email, and on the bottom left, as I mentioned, you will see your chat information here. And to the right is the little icon that says Start Hangout. So if I click on that, it's actually going to put me right into a Hangout. And it's going to ask me to add people to the call. So I'm going to add myself. You can also add people from your contacts. It'll do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and submit. So I've invited someone. You can invite people within Case Western or outside of Case Western. If anyone has a Gmail account, they will have access to Google Hangouts. So if you have your own account, you can actually use that to meet with family members, to have call friends this way. It's a free tool that you can use. So I'm now in the Hangout, and I mentioned on the left-hand side, you will see all of the icons that I talked about earlier. On the right-hand side, you're going to see the group chat. This is where people can write in chats to each other, share information that way as well. So that's one way that you can start a chat. Another way, I mentioned using Google Plus. On the top left of your Google bar in your email or in your calendar or any of the Google apps that you have open, you're going to see a plus and your name. So in this example, it says Plus Casey. And when I click on that, it puts me into my Google Plus account. So you may not use it very often, but again, this is another way that you can actually integrate social media with your tools. And in the very center, there's a status box very similar to Facebook. And there's a Hangout icon. So if I click on the Hangout, it's actually going to open a Hangout, and then it's going to allow me to fill out an invitation to invite people to my Hangout. So that's another way that you can invite people on the fly whenever you want to have one, is through Google Plus. The last way I'm going to show you, I actually have some people who volunteered to be in a Hangout. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how it works. Since most of the time I've been in Hangouts, I've always used them from the calendar option. And so in order to create a Hangout, what you can do, it's very simple. You can click on your item you're going to create, and you'll notice it says Video Call, Add Google Plus Hangout. So if you just click that, there's a Hangout added. You would save your item, and when you go to the item, you're going to see the icon there that's yellow, and it's going to say Join Google Hangout. And when someone gets ready to attend your meeting, they can click on that and it will open the Hangout for them and they can join. So it's pretty simple to use. It's a good tool, like I said, for quick meetings on the fly. If you have a small staff and you want to have a small staff meeting. Again, there are only a maximum of 9 people, so it is more for small groups, whereas we have other tools for video conferencing that are made for larger groups and bigger connections. And a lot of that information, if you are interested in video conferencing, is available on our video conference website, which I will give you at the end of the presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and launch one. Let's see if my users are there. So when you come into a call, you're going to see The first screen will look like this, and it'll have who's already in there. It'll tell them if they're in your circles, which is related to Google+. But you do need to actually join it. So you could come in and realize I'm not in the right place, or I'm not sure I know any of the people. Sometimes you come in, you're the first one, and you don't want to join yet. You want to wait, come in when other people are there. So you would just click on the join button. So, and there's Tyler. I don't know if you can see my screen, but as you talk, you will switch back and forth. So unless Katie says something, Tyler will stay in the center of my screen. On the top here also, there is a little area where you can name your Hangout. If you name your Hangout, what's kind of nice is if you do take photographs using the capture tool, it'll name those and put them in a photo gallery on Google Plus for you. So as I said, it's a good way to do quick record keeping, is take a picture and capture it as well. And then on the right, you can see that. You can mute your camera, as I mentioned earlier on the top. You can mute your microphone, which will allow you to not have the screen switch when you are using it. Your volume information and bandwidth, and then there are settings. So you can go into the settings and customize some things too, how it displays, if you want it to always have a Google Hangout option on your calendar, which is through the calendar settings, but there are a lot of different settings that you can use as well. So if I wanted to go ahead and chat, I can put in a chat there and it would show up for them as well. So Katie changed it, so now Katie's in the middle. And it will just switch like that, as I said, throughout your conversation. So the person who's talking will be in the center. And again, if you are moving around or something like that, you might want to mute your mic so that it doesn't pick up all the inadvertent noise. As I said, some of the more fine-tuned telepresence units and video conferencing tools are more capable to wait and make sure that people are talking before they switch their cameras. But Google Hangouts don't do that, so keep that in mind. Well, thanks, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, and I'm going to go back to my document. So that was a quick demonstration to give you an idea of what it looks like. It's a fun tool to play with. You know, maybe have a few people try it before you use it for a meeting, just so you're pretty well versed in it and understand it. So there's a couple of help places. You can go to the Google site for Hangouts to get more information. If you want information on Google+, since I mentioned that, there is a link there for Google+. You can also search Google+ on the Google site as well. And then I also mentioned video conferencing, so I also listed that link. We do have other tools, so if you are interested in those, we have those listed on our video conferencing website. I did a demonstration and we talked about the Cisco telepresence units, and that was, I believe, last month. All of the Connect videos that we do each month are recorded, and they are published out on help.case.edu. And on the left-hand side under training and videos, and you can see a list of all of the videos we've done for the past, I believe we're going on 2 years of doing various topics throughout the year, once a month. So keep noted of that. They are always announced in the daily so that you can know what's coming up. I'm going to go see if there are any questions. Clara asked, does everyone in the Google Hangout require a Google Plus account? I believe you do not. If you want to have one, you can. Again, you can also add people who have Gmail accounts, which is Google, as well as people through Case Western Reserve. Emil ask, is there a way to record your Google Plus Hangout similar to Adobe Connect? The closest thing to that is the snapshot feature. They do not have a way to record right now, so it would be different from Adobe Connect. If you wanted to record a full presentation, you wouldn't be able to do that. You would have to just keep taking snapshots if you wanted to do that. And we have someone typing. Google did just update Google Plus. If you have the public Gmail account, they have changed how Hangouts work. They have now integrated them more with chat, talk, and the mobile device options for Google Hangouts. So your Gmail side will be a little bit different. Yes, on the link on Google Plus, if you go through the regular link, it will tell you that it's not enabled. We have not enabled the new Google Hangout features at Case right now. So we will do that in the near future. They will be more integrated, but they will probably work very much the same. We will probably do a session on that when those go live sometime later. And I have another question. Keith is asking if a camera is necessary. No, it's not. What you can do if you do not have a camera is, as long as you have speakers or a way to do audio, you can still participate. You just will not show up as an image. They have a little image that's like a silhouette, and that will show up for you when you log in. So people will know that you're there, but they won't be able to see you. So you don't have to have a camera. It's helpful since it's more of a video conferencing way to work face-to-face, but if that's not possible, you can participate by audio only using your computer. Clara, I can't recommend a decent camera. You may want to check with your IT folks and find out what would work better. A lot of the new computers already come with them, but if you need a webcam, there are some small inexpensive ones that you can probably check with your IT group and see what they recommend. So are there any other questions? Well, I have another poll while I wrap up here that I wanted to put out. If you could answer for me. But again, I just wanted to give an overview of Hangouts. There are lots more information. Watch for in the future when we enable the integrated version that's coming out. In the future, if you want to try it out, you can open up a Gmail account. It's already enabled for the public Google users. And also reminder that if you are interested in other topics we've done through ITS Connect, you can actually go to help.case.edu and on the left-hand side under training, look at the videos and watch other things. We've done other topics on all of the Google products that we have administratively, docs, sites, forms, mail, calendar, all of those, as well as other enterprise products that we offer through ITS. Great, so it looks like almost all of you are going to be using Google Hangouts in the future. And as I said, it is a very good tool. It's quick and easy to use, and it's really nice for small meetings that you want to have. So if there are no more questions, I will go ahead and say thank you and hope to see you next month for the next ITS Connect session. So watch for that in the daily news that we announce what the topics are.